Hi guys, Kirk and Jason here with Kirk Giordano Plastering. Today what I'm going to show you folks is how to cover a window properly. I had a fella, let's see, name is Ryan, lives in Ontario, Canada. He said, Kirk, is there any tricks, techniques to covering those windows? And I thought, not really, but there are once you think about it. And I'll show you some of the things. Like I'm getting ready to cover this slider. Now, just now I was taking the tape because the slider had been here for a while. I was taking the tape and I was going on the frames like this. And while I was doing that, because you see all that dirt there, because our plastic won't adhere if there's dust or dirt on there. So that's trick number one. The main thing on covering a window is, now this is no joke, having a brand new blade in your knife. We got a lot of trades here, don't mind that noise. A brand new blade, and that will cut the plastic. While we're over here, I'll point out something also, and that is this tape. This yellow tape and this blue tape. Blue tape is great, but it's for interior. Duct tape is good stuff, but it leaves a residue. Now the white tape is what I was just cleaning it with, but I prefer the red vinyl tape. And I'll show you a technique on red vinyl tape. It'll tear real easy if you put your fingers right next to each other. You see that? And just right next to each other. It usually tears in a straight line too. So that's the tip on this stuff. If you try to tear it over here, you can pull it forever, and you don't need a knife. You just grab it right there and boom, you got it torn. So this red tape, technically, I use the red tape because they say with the red, you have the ability to leave it on for 30 days in the hot sun. If it's about 65 degrees, you can leave it on for 30 days. If it's about 85 to 90 in the hot sun in 30 days, you will have a residue and you will be scraping it off with any of those goop off products. So it will leave a residue. Anyway, getting back to what I was going to do here. I'm going to use some viscreen. This is called plastic sheeting, viscreen, you can call it whatever you want. Normally the mils are, you got 1 mil up to 80 mil. The blue tarps are about like 80 or so. This is 6 mil. I like 6 mil because it's a little bit more rigid, and if you like, say the 1 mil, 2, 3, 4, 5, that's okay for covering a bunch of tools so you don't get crap on them. But this stuff here is a little bit more flexible, and it's usually rolls of, say, this one here is 10 by like 40, I believe. But here's what I generally do. Okay, for the sake of covering this, now I'll mark it out. I'll go about right here and come over to here and go to here. Now what I want to try to do is get a straight cut too. Hopefully the last person who used it, cut that edge pretty straight. I'll use something like right here to cut it, because I'm going to cut it again anyhow. It's better to cut this stuff a little longer than a little short. Otherwise you're using a whole bunch of tape. So now that I got these edges, let's see, make sure I could open this stuff up. This is a job within itself right here. They package this stuff so tight. It's kind of a process just to get it out. Now, because we got 10 foot, and this is your typical 6-foot window, what I'll generally do is say, I'm going to put a little bit of spot tape just to hold it in one spot. Okay. So, I'll get it. And here's another tip too, guys. This red tape will bond instantly to the plastic. It'll weld itself to it. You couldn't pull it off if you got it on by accident. It's tough to pull it off. So what I usually like to do, and I tell my kids, and my daughter's great at this stuff, is get at least a 1/4 inch on the plastic and get more on the frame, because the frame will, this I'm just going to leave it on for a day, but if I wanted it on for 30 days, you really have to be on the ball and put it on right. So now that I got the top piece, so what I'm going to do is, now I'm going to set this on here and go an entire piece. And you can tuck it under the flashing, get it on that flashing. Now we got our top piece done. Okay, once that top piece is done, and we go to the right side, what I'll do is, because I'm going to be doing some stucco work here today, I want the bottom right here covered too. So what I'll do is I'll pull this, and as I said earlier, if it's a straight cut, then I can just put my tape here. If it's not, well, we improvise. So meaning, and granted we happen to have a windy day here today too, so that's kind of a drag. But I'll tuck this in just a little bit, come on here, and then just pull it back a little bit. It doesn't have to be pretty because it's only here for a day. All right, there we go. And it's best if you could just use one piece. You got a whole bunch of little bitty pieces every 6 inches, every 8 inches. What happens is you pull it off, and when you're doing stucco, you have little edges to clean up. So that's that. Now we go back over to here where the wind is blowing, and let's see. I'll get this under here. We can do it a lot of ways. Okay. Now, as soon as it hits this plastic, it just, boom, adheres it straight on the money. It welds itself to it. So I'll put another one down here. Just like that. And then I'm going to run one solid piece. So when you do these solid pieces like this, it always works better. It's, again, we're kind of high in the air today. It's a bit windy, but nothing we can't handle. There you go. And last thing I'm going to do too is actually I'm going to take this board, push it all the way up to the wall, then put this on it so when I do the stucco it's not dropping below. A lot of times when we do this, if I'm not there, if say it's going to be on for 30 days, we'll put some tape going here to here. That way it really holds it tight. Anyhow, it's pretty simple, but there are a lot of little techniques and tricks to doing this. Anyhow, guys, my name is Kirk. I am with Kirk Giordano Plastering. Thank you for watching how to cover a window or a door. And as usual, we'll see you guys on the next one.